guys, I'm going to attempt to do a vlog from the car. I had to come home this morning because I forgot my keys to my classroom, and anyway, it's just been a mess. So I'm hoping that this doesn't fall off, but anyway, here we go. We're gonna make an attempt at it. This is, and sorry the car is so loud. We have to get a front end alignment, and it rides really loud and bumpy right now. So Hudson is 2 months old, and he is just adorable and precious and growing, and his little cheeks and arms and legs are filling out, and it's just so super cute. But let me tell you how he's been doing. Last time I gave y'all an update when he was a month old, he had been having some tummy issues, which were starting to get better. I'd cut dairy out of my diet, and he was getting better. He was still fussing a lot, but a lot less. But slowly, after I did that update, within a week and a half, 2 weeks-ish, I guess, somewhere in there, he started up the screaming like for hours on end again, and it got really consistent. At first I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep cutting out the dairy because all babies have a fussy time, and this is probably just his fussy time. And then it got to where every single night he was screaming from 10 at night to 2 in the morning. Every single night. It was awful, and he would have horrible, horrible, horrible gas. And you know, we even went as far as to get some medicine from the doctor. That didn't work. He just like spit up some more. Well, he didn't spit up a whole ton before, but he would spit up some, and then we got the medicine from the doctor, and he actually spit up more after we got it. So I was like, okay, that's not gonna work. It's not reflux, because that's what the medicine was for. So anyway, it was time for me to go back to work, and the night before I went back to work, I just prayed. I was like, please sleep tonight, baby. Please don't scream, you know, for 4 hours. You know, I just couldn't handle it. Like, the stress of going back to work and him screaming. I just didn't want to do it. So anyway, I went back to work. He went to daycare. He did fine at daycare the first week. Like, he would be happy and just fine. But let me preface something. Before I had gone back to work, I had been taking fenugreek to increase my milk supply. And then when I went back to work, I had just stopped taking it because I just forgot it. I wasn't at home to take it, and I hadn't been taking it with me to work. And miraculously at daycare that week, he was fine at daycare, and at nights he started having some regular sleep patterns, so I was just totally relieved. Well, by the second week of work, which was last week, it was our first week of actual school, I remembered to take fenugreek with me. I was like, okay, I'll just throw that in my bag and take it with me, and I started taking it. Well, he like immediately started having issues last week, like screaming his head off at daycare, wouldn't take his bottle. And the week before, he had been drinking only fresh milk that was milk that was produced without me being on fenugreek. So the following week, whenever I realized, oh my gosh, he's having these issues with milk that has fenugreek in it. So I knew immediately that was the issue. So now I am not taking fenugreek. Now I'm just doing mother's milk tea. That's what we're doing now, and he's back to his regular sleep patterns. Then last week he had an issue at daycare where he refused his bottle. Like, there was one day that the daycare called, and they said he ate 2 ounces like at 8:30 this morning, and he hasn't eaten since. And it was like lunchtime. I mean, it was pretty far into the day, and he had nursed like at 5:30 that morning. So he had nursed at 5:30, then eaten at 10. No, eating 2 ounces at 8. And usually he eats like 4 ounces. And so yeah, he definitely wasn't getting much. So we were kind of worried about him getting dehydrated. But he wouldn't take the bottle, and I used the Playtex drop-in system. He wouldn't take it. So I went and bought the expensive first year's breast flow bottles, which are really cool. And they were like 16 bucks for a pack of 3. I went ahead and did that because I figured, oh, he'll probably like these, and I don't want to buy them individually because it costs more that way. So I bought 3 of them. The next day, he refused those bottles. The daycare was like, well, you know, what can we try? And they had, like, they always have extra bottles on hand, like brand new ones. And so they gave him, like, one of the 99-cent, like, Gerber bottles, and he took it just fine through the day. Like, not a problem. So, yeah, I spent all that money on bottles, and then he hated them. So I have all these drop-ins and all this stuff, and he likes the 99-cent bottles, which is great. You know, if they get lost or whatever, it's not a big deal, but at the same time, I already spent that money on those, and it's not like you can return them, so I don't know what I'm going to do with those, but things are back to normal. Hopefully today everything will go great at daycare. Yeah, he's doing really well. I'm doing well. I had my 6-week appointment, which I need to do a Misadventures and Mommyhood video over that because I had all the kids with me and it was interesting for that appointment. We are not doing a permanent birth control for a little while. We really want to wait and just make sure now that Hudson's here that that's for sure what we want, which we're about 98% sure that that's what we want. I did get on the mini pill because I don't really know how my cycle's going to work with nursing, so it'll be hard for me. I've never watched my fertility that way as far as birth control. So I'm on the mini pill, which I don't like. I don't like birth control, but, you know, if we're not sure that we want 5 kids, then we've got to watch what we're doing, so that's important. But, yeah, I don't think there's anything else really going on. Connor had a doctor's appointment, his 2-year appointment here pretty recently, and they, his growth, I mean, he's the weight of about a 9 to 12 month old and the length of a 12 month old, and he's 2 years old, and his doctor, he's not like, he's got a red flag up to watch it, but he's not like overly concerned because he knows that, you know, Micah and I aren't big people by any means, and our families are relatively small, all of our family members, so he's not really worried about it. But he, you know, he wants to monitor his growth, and he did tell us that there is a potential for, you know, at some point he might recommend growth hormones, which, my doctor's the type, like, you know, Connor had an ear infection recently and didn't run any fever, and he said, well, you know, he's not running fever, let's see if he gets over it on his own, you know, and Connor did. So the doctor, you know, he's not one to like push meds on me, but he does, you know, he wants me to have the information so that I can make a good decision. So, yeah, that's where we are on that. So it's not a huge deal, but, you know, something just to monitor. But other than that, everybody's great. McKenna and Colton started school. They're going to a new school this year that's really awesome because it has after-school programs. Hopefully next semester McKenna can take piano lessons there, and I don't know, we're just really, really excited. The school year is off to a pretty good start, except for me forgetting my keys this morning and being late to lunch duty, to cafeteria duty. As kids get off the school buses, they go and wait in the cafeteria, and we have to have monitors in there, and I'm late, so I hope nobody gets too mad at me. I think they'll understand. We all have Mondays like this, but I think that's it for today, and I hope y'all have a great day. Bye. Hi, y'all. Sorry this is all crooked. You're just sitting on my printer, and it's kind of off to the side, but I'm just doing an update on how pumping out work is going. I'm in my classroom right now. I have my conference period first thing, so that's what I'm doing right now, and that's why you're getting the update. My doors are locked all the time. It's just one of our school policies, and I put some butcher paper up on the window so nobody can see in and that I'm able to pump. It's been going really well. I'm actually producing more than what Hudson is eating, so I'm making a nice little stockpile in the fridge. If it doesn't get used, then more than likely what we'll do is, I don't know, I might give it to Connor, or I don't know about donating because I haven't been screened or anything like that, and, you know, it's just stuff that's already in the fridge, but, you know, we'll just see because I don't know yet if it's going to be needed or not, but it's going really well. This is the pump that I use. It's a Purely Yours by Amita, And I just put it in a cooler that I have with all my parts and everything, and I just store everything in that cooler. That way, you know, if I don't have time to rinse parts off, it's in the cooler, so it's not going to go bad, and, you know, everything stays cool and it stays good. Candid Mommy actually has a really, really good video on pumping in the car, but it really, well, it's hands-free pumping and driving, but if you look that up, she's got some really good tips, and so that's where I got the thing about putting it all in the cooler. But yeah, it's going well. I did have a huge hiccup with my pump. It had, since I had Hudson and I pulled it out for the first time, it was making a really weird noise, and like, the part right there where like the tube actually goes into the machine was like, there was a piece like popping out whenever, like while it was pumping, and I knew it wasn't going to last very long, and it was making these weird noises. Well, then I accidentally knocked it off the counter this weekend when I was cleaning, and then like it would still turn on, but it was making an even worse noise, and it just sounded really, really bad, and it really wasn't working properly. So this one was actually one of my cousins. She got it through WIC. She has another one, but like WIC, usually in the first couple of weeks they won't let you have a breast pump because they want you to establish your milk supply, and she had cracked bleeding nipples and was going through a whole lot with it, so she just was like, screw it, I'm going to go buy one. But she still took the one that they gave, and in the area where we live, WIC pretty much has to beg to give away breast pumps, so I don't want anybody to think, well, you're just taking advantage, because that's really not it. And at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, who cares, you know, it's getting used, you know, somebody is using it, it is benefiting a baby, and whenever I'm done with it, I'll do the same thing, I'll share it with somebody who, you know, needs it. And the reason that we didn't just run out and buy another one was because they're so expensive, but you're looking at between $250 to $300, and that's a lot of money, especially considering that this is our last baby. You know, if you're having a couple more kids after that, or even one more kid, it makes sense to get another one, or to purchase one. But being that we were on our last baby, it was just a huge expense. If we didn't have to spend it, you know, then we weren't going to. And so thankfully she had this extra pump and all the extra parts, and it had never even been used because she had the other one. So that's how the whole pumping thing is going. It's going really, really well. So far, so good anyway. I can tell that like at the beginning of the week, my supply will start out really, really strong. I'll pump like between 20 to 24 ounces at work, and then by Friday I pump between about 16 to 18 ounces. So you can tell the decrease as, you know, through the week as I'm away from my baby. But then over the weekend I only nurse. We don't, well, when I'm with him I don't give him a bottle at all. We only nurse. So it just picks the supply back up and helps over the weekend. But I think that's it, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Bye. Okay, I just needed to add to that last video. It was recorded on Monday the 29th, and today is Wednesday the 31st. And Hudson had his 2-month appointment yesterday, and it went really well. He looked great. He was 11 pounds, which was like the 31st percentile for weight, and he was 23.4 inches long. So that was like the 66th percentile for length, which is crazy because none of my kids have ever been that long at this point. And I mean, I'm sure